Hello, everybody. We are back with another video today, and it is currently January 3rd, 2024, at least the time that I'm recording this video. So it's my first video of 2024. Now, welcome to the 2024 presidential election year. We are now officially in election season. This is really what I consider election season beginning as the page of the new year begins. I understand, there have been the Republican primary debates and all sorts of things that have happened previously, all the rallies. But this is when this is when the election season begins in my mind, because it is officially 2024 and the primaries are only days away. The Iowa caucus, I believe, on January 15th, which is about 12 days from now. So, with that, I am going to do the first ever election prediction of the new year. The last time I did this prediction was about 2.5 months, or excuse me, a month and a half ago. And it is between the presumptive Democrat nominee at this point in time, Joe Biden, who's the current president of the United States, and the presumptive Republican nominee, Donald Trump, who is the former president of the United States, was the 45th president before he was defeated by Joe Biden in 2020, although some people believe he wasn't defeated. Joe Biden is the president of the United States at the moment. Um, anyway, let's get into this election prediction. Before I say that, actually, let's add a little bit more context. Right now, Donald Trump is leading in the general election polling for the first time in history, I believe, against Joe Biden nationally. This is the longest ever time that he's led, and this is, I believe, the first time in history on the national scale that he is winning in the popular vote, and that he is just leading overall with the Electoral College. Never had this happen before under Joe Biden. Under Hillary Clinton, he only led for a brief period of time. So Biden facing unprecedented levels of unpopularity nationally. It doesn't mean that Biden's going to lose, as I have said in my previous videos, but it does mean that Donald Trump is very, very looking like he has a significant shot at winning the presidency. So that is the context that I wanted to give. Polling is at an all-time high for Trump and an all-time low for Biden at the moment. And we head into the new year. Joe Biden has plenty of time to turn things around. Right now, before the 2020 election, COVID wasn't even heard of. And then we all know how that affected the 2020 election and how that likely shifted a lot of voters' perception of Trump based off his response. A lot of people believe that is what caused Trump to lose the election at the end of the day. So it doesn't mean that Biden is done for. Plenty of months to go, but election season has begun. And if Joe Biden wants to win, he does have to make some changes politically, in my mind, to gain over the support of crucial voters, especially African Americans and Hispanics, which he's losing support on, and surprisingly, the young population, which he's lost a lot of support under, due to his, I believe, reaction to the war in Israel against Hamas. And yeah, that is what Joe Biden has to be focusing on at the moment. Donald Trump looking very, very dominant. But nonetheless, let's head into what I believe the safe Biden states will be. And the safe Biden states are going to be the usual safe states. I'll include the state of Colorado as well, simply because I just don't believe Trump has any shot at winning that state. It's shifted significantly toward the Democrat Party over the last few decades, I guess you could say, decade and a half. And at this point, I do believe it would be safe for Biden. Heading into our safe Trump states, I'll include Alaska, although people are like, it's could dip below 10 points at this point. I just don't think that will happen. Yeah. And I do see safe states at above a 10-point margin, and likely from 5 to 10, and lean from 1 to 5, and tilt from less than 1 to 1. Anyway, 125 states for Trump. I'm going to include Iowa, Ohio, and Maine's 2nd Congressional District, all states that he's significantly won by in both the 2020 election and the 2020 election, excuse me, the 2020 election and the 2016 election. And I do believe that in the 2024 election, Trump will actually expand on his lead, reaching above that 10-point threshold to characterize those as safe Republican states, getting him to 149 electoral votes. Heading into our likely Biden states, we have the state of Virginia is going to be a likely Biden state. Now, Glenn Youngkin did say that he would throw his support behind whoever the Republican nominee for president was, given that Trump will likely be the Republican nominee if Glenn Youngkin supports Trump, and if Trump does have that base there. I don't believe Virginia would be considered a safe state. I do think it would stay under 10 points. However, Biden is still very popular in the Northeast. I would consider Virginia a slightly northeastern state, especially among suburban women as well, which compose a significant percentage of the Virginian residents. I would also say that New Mexico would be a likely state, as well as the state of Minnesota. Although Biden has lost a lot of support among Muslim Americans who predominantly live in Minnesota, in areas in Minnesota and areas in Michigan for some reason. I don't exactly know the reasoning behind that, but I do believe that at this point in time, it still would be a likely state. I think he would only end up winning. He would win by less than what he won in 2020, which was about 7 points. He'd only win by about 5 points. However, keep that in the likely category for me. I also believe Biden would win in New Hampshire by a likely margin as well, by more than 5 points, which is what he did back in 2020 as well as Maine's um, second at-large district. Heading into our likely Trump states, give him Florida right. He was losing to Biden by a lot right there, and really Texas is going to bump him up. I don't see that being anywhere competitive in this election, especially given the current environment right now nationally. So that'll be the first state to bump him up, and then the second state will be the state of Florida, essentially making this a neck and neck race again. Florida has shifted significantly to the right. I like to use the word significantly just to describe these shifts. It's been about 5 points, 10 points. Ron DeSantis in 2018 won the Florida governor race by less than a percent, and in 2022 he won the Florida governor's race by about 20 percentage points. So what a shift that was. You look at Trump in 2016, won it by about a point and a half. 2020 won it by about 3.5 points. So a shift there you see on the presidential level, even nationally. You see a shift in Florida. I do think that come 2024, now it being, but come November, I guess you would say, Trump will win Florida by more than 5 points anywhere. I'd say he'd win by about 8 to 9, 7 to 8 points, give or take. So getting him to 219 electoral votes. That'll be all the likely Republican states, all the likely Trump states. Heading into our lean Biden states, I don't see there being any lean Biden states. I really, you could give Minnesota as a lean Biden state. That in my mind would be the only one, in New Hampshire. But I just don't see there being. Actually, I do see there being one. Nebraska second congressional district, leaning in favor of Biden. A lot of suburban women there. Leaning Trump states. This will be the state of North Carolina at the moment. This would be the state of Georgia. This would be the state of Arizona, all leaning in favor of Donald Trump, getting him to 262 electoral votes. Tilt Biden states. Give him the state of Michigan slightly, ever so slightly. If he's able to turn that support around, especially among Muslim Americans, I do see Biden hanging on to the state of Michigan. I see this being a neck and neck race, regardless, closer than 2020 was and 2016. But I do believe that Biden has that Rust Belt appeal. He would narrowly hang on to the state of Michigan at this point. Now, going over to our tilt Trump states, give Donald Trump the rest of these tilt states. Give him Nevada, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, getting him to 297 electoral votes. Trump would flip back two of the four states in the Rust Belt that I consider the Rust Belt to be: Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Trump wins Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. Those are the most Republican of the four states. The states that were the closest margins in 2020, the closest states that Trump had in winning, and the states that Trump won the most in 2016 against Hillary Clinton. He won Wisconsin and Pennsylvania by, I believe, 0.7% compared to Michigan by only 0.3%, and Minnesota by 1.5% in 2016. So Donald Trump is, I guess you would say, reelected president of the United States, getting him the 297 electoral votes. He will be the second president ever to be reelected president of the United States non-consecutively, beside Grover Cleveland, who did so over 100 years ago, back in the 1800s. So yeah, Trump makes history, winning the presidency again, going on to be the 47th president of the United States. Thank you for watching this video. Please make sure to comment below your thoughts on my presidential election prediction. What would you keep the same? What would you change? Do you agree with the Trump win, or do you think that a Biden would somehow pull this off? Or do you believe that Trump or Biden would win by an even larger margin? Anyway, once more, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and have a good day.